So there are huge changes coming to Lucasfilm right now. We have been getting a lot of news regarding Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau taking over more and more of Star Wars. It seems like Lucasfilm is trying to give them control without officially announcing it. But if you peel back the curtain just a little bit, you can see they are truly taking over and already have taken over. In this video, we peel back the curtain of Lucasfilm and find out exactly what Jon and Dave will be in charge of when it comes to Star Wars. Let's get into it. So the Disney investor event is probably one of the biggest signs that Jon and Dave are taking over. For a while, people like Den of Nerds have been reporting that Lucasfilm was developing a Filoniverse, and it turns out he was right. If you don't know what the Filoniverse is, it's pretty much a bunch of TV shows and or movies that will connect in some way. Whether that's for multiple episodes or just one finale, we don't know. But at the Disney investor event, they revealed that Filoni and Favreau are making 3 new TV shows together, plus another season of The Mandalorian. These shows were Rangers of the New Republic, Ahsoka, and Boba Fett. Now, we don't know much about any of these shows, but one thing we do know is that they will combine for one singular finale. This is going to be amazing. It's going to be just like the MCU. There is going to be one main villain looming in each show. It will probably have characters from each show cross over in every season of each show, and the finale will be just like the endgame of the Filoniverse. And once Dave pulls this off, he'll probably get his own Star Wars trilogy. Imagine we get the sequel trilogy with Jon and Dave running it. This move by Disney to give Dave the lead in 4 separate Star Wars shows is so smart, and I can't wait to see what he does with them. The next thing that Jon and Dave are taking over is Galaxy's Edge. Galaxy's Edge to a lot of people is a huge missed opportunity. Now obviously it's an immersive Star Wars world, so every Star Wars fan wants to be there, but it just feels a little empty. There's a lot of Reys there, but what about the original trilogy and prequel characters? Well, Jon and Dave are about to fix that issue. Galaxy's Edge is changing into a Mandalorian based world, and it's going to be awesome. Just imagine a bunch of Mandalorians walking around holding baby Yodas. We can even see a lot of different types of Mandalorians very easily. We can see Bo-Katan, Din, and all other types of Mandalorians. They don't even need to find lookalikes like they do for Rey, because they can just wear the helmet the whole time. Not to mention, this also means we might be able to see Luke Skywalker walking around. I would love it if they made Luke a very rare character to see in the world, so you would have to stay there for hours and look for him in order to be able to see him. And when you do finally find him, you'll feel rewarded for it, just like his appearance in The Mandalorian. I think this will allow fans to enjoy Galaxy's Edge a lot more, and not only the diehard fans that feel like the world feels empty, but also the new fans. The Mandalorian is really taking over the world right now, and I think it's a great decision by Disney to make the move to change Galaxy's Edge to a Mandalorian world. So next up we have the Mark Hamill tweet and also the love from all of the creatives that surround Dave Filoni. Every single person that was interviewed in the making of doc for The Mandalorian spoke so highly of Dave and Jon, it was pretty crazy. They worship Jon like a god of film, and they worship Dave like a god of Star Wars lore. Gina Carano said she is learning from him every time she's around him, and he just walks around spouting off Star Wars facts. But back to the Mark tweet. Mark tweeted, "Sometimes the greatest gifts are the most unexpected and something you never realized you wanted until it was given. Hashtag thank you Jon and Dave." This picture was also tweeted alongside of a picture of the Luke Skywalker reveal in The Mandalorian. Now this kind of sums up how all fans feel about The Mandalorian. Not only is it the Star Wars that everyone wanted to see, but it's also the version of Luke that we all wanted to see. The Luke reveal in The Mandalorian was proof that storytelling rules all, because that CGI was really bad on Luke and no one even cared. It's Luke Skywalker on screen again. They actually did it, and we loved it. And it seems like Mark and all the other creatives loved it too. Everyone around Lucasfilm seems to love working with Jon and Dave, and Jon and Dave seem to love doing what they do. Jon and Dave are also the perfect team for other reasons, and I don't feel like I hear this talked about enough. The reason that those two work so well together is because of how different they are. Jon is a filmmaker to his core, and he's also a Star Wars fan, but come on, what filmmaker isn't? The reason they work so well is Jon knows the filmmaking and the business side of things like the back of his hand, but he lacks the Star Wars knowledge. Dave not only can handle the Star Wars knowledge side of things, but he also knows exactly how the fans want certain stories to be told. Jon knows when to put limits on Dave from going too inside baseball with his references, and Dave knows when to tell Jon that certain things can't happen. For instance, if Jon wanted to turn Luke Skywalker into a hermit, Dave would tell him that Luke would never do that. I'm just kidding, please don't yell at me. I personally love the team of Jon and Dave, and I hope they take over Star Wars forever. I think after this Filoniverse conclusion, Filoni will be signed to somewhat of a lifelong contract to make Star Wars content, and I'm sure he wouldn't think twice about signing that paper. I think Jon will go off and do other things because he's a filmmaker at the end of the day. He wants to make other things outside of Star Wars. He's gonna live the dream of making Star Wars content for a few more years and then probably move on. He will definitely come back to produce and maybe even direct a film or two, but I think Dave will be involved in Star Wars for life, and I'm very happy to have him. Like the great Luke Skywalker said, thank you Jon and Dave. What do you think about Dave Filoni taking over Star Wars? And what do you think about the team of Jon and Dave? Let me know in the comments. But if you like this video, consider checking out some of my other content and subscribing to the channel, and also leave a like on the video. Other than that, thanks for watching the video and hope to see you on the next one.